there, making sure that these crucial elections work. Not to be so over dramatic, but hopefully what we'll find out here today is how we're going to actually do everything on May 9th. And by going through this, we hope that we'll all be better off for it. So I guess you know how important elections are. We know there have been a lot of last minute changes, and we're all pulling together to make it all work. Let me introduce DepEd's Undersecretary Moya.
Thank you, Maria, and good afternoon to everyone. We are really very thankful that we have this activity that seeks to further enhance the knowledge of our teachers who will serve in the BEIs in the May 9 election. You know very well that teachers really want to do their best in providing this service during election time. We had hoped that all of our teachers would be given the training, but unfortunately, funds are not sufficient. But even for those who had had the previous training, now we realize that because of some of the revisions that were introduced, additional information will have to be given to our teachers. So we're really thankful to Rappler and to the COMELEC, and also to our people in the field, our legal officers and admin officers who will be there to assist all of our teachers who will be serving in the BEIs. We foresee that there will be a lot of questions that will be asked as we go through the next few days before the election, and perhaps even during election itself. And this really provides us with the opportunity to respond quickly to any questions that may be asked and to provide additional information. So once again, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. And we hope that we have the cleanest, the most honest, and the most organized elections on Monday. Thank you.
Thank you, Yusek Muyot. And without further ado, we'll now call on Director Celia Romero of the Commission on Elections, Election Records and Statistic Department. And we'll also call on Mr. Leo Lim of the COMELEC EID Department, who will be doing the VCM demo, and Director Romero will be doing the lecture on the updates. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon again to everyone. So, katulad ng sinabi kanina ni Yusek, we are all hoping for hope. Honest, orderly, peaceful election. And how can we do that? Of course, we have to abide some various guidelines provided by COMELEC, and of course, we need cooperation to each other. For the BEIs, for our deputized agencies, the COMELEC, and of course, our voters. Gagawin natin yon kung masusundan natin yung mga guidelines like instructions for the BEI, instructions for our Board of Canvassers, so that for 2016 election, we can truly have hope. So, I think all of the BEIs have undergone training, and this is just a briefing or parang refresher para ma-recall natin yung mga training natin. And during the training, the COMELEC has not implemented or released the resolution for the contingency. Maalala nyo ba kung may nag-lecture sa inyo ng contingency? Contingency measures like what we do, for example, if the VCM was not in the polling center on FTS, if the VCM is not working on election day. So, today, we will also include that for the briefing. So, today is May 2, right? So, this is the first day of the final testing and sealing. So, yung ibang areas ng ating bansa ngayon are now conducting the final testing and sealing. I hope everybody here knows what is FTS and what is the purpose of the FTS. What's the purpose of the FTS? Final testing and sealing is the final test in order to test our VCM if all the functionalities are working, especially on election day. And of course, we will test the accuracy of the VCM. When we say accuracy of the VCM, tama ba yung binoboto natin ay nakakount ng machine? Or tama ba na ang balotang ipinapasok natin sa makina, paglabas niya, in terms of the election returns, tama ba ang bilang? Nabilang ba lahat ang ating ibinoto? So that is part of our FTS. Okay, so maybe we will begin our lecture on the FTS with a demo. So before our FTS, first thing to do for the teachers is that, of course, you have to check the contents of your VCM box. Alam nyo na ba kung ano ang VCM box? Yung box kung saan natin inilagay yung ating VCM. What is VCM? Our vote counting machine. So yung ating VCM box contains peripherals, the pins, the eye buttons, ito yung eye buttons natin. Ito yung eye button natin kung paano siya makicommunicate sa ating VCM. And how do we communicate the VCM? Dapat yung eye button natin nakatap dito sa eye button receptacle. So yun yung communication ng BEI to the VCM. Of course, we have our ballots, our battery, especially dun sa areas na nawawalan ng kuryente. Pero ang sinasabi namin po, kailangan yung battery natin kasi dito wala yung kanyang styrofoam. Kailangan may kasama siyang styrofoam. Asan po yun? Wala. So dapat on election day, i-check ng mga BEI na ang kanyang battery dapat nakatuntong sa kanyang styrofoam. Kung wala naman, siguro maghanap na lang ng corrugated box or karton or basahan para ipatong itong ating battery. Then we have also our, what do you call this one? Yung pinaglagyan natin ng balota. Kasi during the training, hindi rin namin naisama yung voter's receipt. Tama po? Wala bang nag-training sa inyo nakasama ang voter's receipt? Okay, because this ballot box, this is what we call the black box, na pinaglagyan ng ating mga balota on election day. Ito po yung ating gagamitin na voter's receipt receptacle. So i-improvise po natin ito na paglalagyan ng ating mga voter's receipt. We have the broadband stick. Kung paano kayo magta-transmit ng election results, ito yung gagamitin natin. Siguro naman, nare-recall nyo pa kung paano ito gagamitin. But anyway, Leo will demo mamaya kung paano ito gagamitin. Then we have the marking pens. Napaka-importante ito kasi para mabasa yung boto. Dahil may isang instance sa overseas voting, siguro kasi ang overseas voting election is April 9 to May 9, so nauna sila. But one voter used colored ballpen doon sa pagboto niya. Tapos nung lumabas yung kanyang voter's receipt, ang sinasabi niya, bakit yung boto ko ng presidente hindi nabilang? Because gumamit siya ng pulang ballpen. So please instruct your voters na kailangan ang gamitin na pen sa pag-shade ng oval ay itong provided ng COMELEC na marking pen. Please don't use any other kind of pen para walang reason kung bakit iba ang na-count ng makina paglabas ng voter's receipt. So kailangan ito lang ang gamitin. Then, of course, we have yung scissor. Ito hindi nakasama na sa ating VCM box. So meron kaming memorandum na ang scissor ay kailangan kunin ng Provincial Treasurer's Office sa mga ipinadala ng to go. So, kailangan nyo rin sabihin sa ating mga BEI, don't forget to get pair of scissor para sa kanilang presinto. Then we have the ballots. For the final testing and sealing, we have how many ballots? Kung ma-recall nyo pa ang training nyo. How many ballots? Of course, we have 10 ballots for the final testing and sealing. Then we have the ballot secrecy folder. Ito yung ating headphone na testing na lang natin kasi tinanggal na rin natin yung capability ng VCM na gumamit ng audio. So ipapakita lang namin kung paano gamitin, but this is no longer needed for the election. Okay, so before we start with the demo, siguro kailangan tanggalin muna ni Leo ang VCM sa ibabaw ng ballot box para masimulan nyo kung paano ilagay yung VCM. Mayroong mga hindi nag-training? Ano dito? Ang nandito? Okay, so bago namin simulan itong VCM, siguro sasabihin ko muna kung paano ang procedure ng final testing and sealing para maintindihan nyo yung makina. Okay, so you are provided with 10 final testing and sealing ballots. These ballots are the same as that ballots which will be used on election day. Kaya sa taas niya, kung makikita nyo, may nakasulat na FTS. Kasi kung ito ay hindi nagamit during FTS, this can be used on election day. So dapat hindi magamit ito on election day. Remember, yung 10 FTS ballots na to, pwede na siyang kainin ng BCM on election day. But never use this on election day. Kasi sosobra yung ating ballots on election day. So you are provided with 10 FTS ballots. Then these FTS ballots will be shaded by, kung merong doong 10 voters na tumitingin or nagwi-witness ng FTS, pwedeng sila ang mag-shade ng ballots. Pero kung walang voters doon available, anybody can shade the 10 ballots. Pwedeng yung watchers or or kung 3 lang yung voters ang nandun, pwedeng tigta-3 balota na lang sila ang isi-shade. Ang importante, ma-shade yung 10 FTS ballots. So the FTS ballots will be feed to the VCM. Then of course, after feeding the 10 FTS ballots, you can now generate the results. So sa procedure natin, after feeding the FTS ballots, magge-generate tayo ng election returns. Pagkatapos mag-generate ng election returns, ang unang i-generate niya ay 8 copies of the election returns. Ang susunod na sasabihin ng VCM, do you want to transmit? Sasabihin ng BEI, no. Kasi sa FTS, wala tayong transmission. So when you say no, then the 8 copies of the election returns will be automatically printed. So after printing ng 8 copies of the ERs, magpiprint siya ng 22 copies. After printing the 22 copies, okay na tayo doon sa election returns. So meron kayong provided na manual ERs. Yung manual ERs na yan, pagka nakuha nyo yung election return, yun yung gagamitin nyo para magtaras. You know what is taras? Kasi yung ating election return parang kasing haba lang siya ng long bond paper. Tapos may 2 siyang column. Kasi ang isang column will contain 5 taras. Since you have 10 FTS ballots, 2 columns yun, so you have a total of 10 ballots. Kailangan yung makukuha ninyong boto doon sa manual ER ay mag-coincide siya doon sa resulta ng ating generated ERs. Pag sinabi naming generated ERs, yung inilabas ng VCM. Yung manual ERs, yun yung manually filled up by the BEIs using taras. So kailangan kung president ang nakaboto doon sa ER, total ng president like Duterte 8, kailangan pag tinaras nyo sa manually, lalabas 8. Kung si Mar Rojas naman ang 8, dapat lumabas doon sa taras nyo, 8. Dapat parehas lahat yon. So, yun yung procedure natin ng FTS. And for the FTS, ang unang gagawin ng demo mamaya ni Leo is gagawa siya ng diagnostics. Yung diagnostics na sinasabi namin is to test yung functionality ng VCM natin, yung kanyang LCD, yung kanyang ballot receptacle o kung saan nyo ini-insert yung ballot, yung slot natin. Kasi kayo, marami dito ang hindi nag-training. Meron tayong dalawang slot dito, slot A and slot B, kung saan nating ilalagay yung ating SD card. Yung SD card na yon, importante yon kasi doon lahat papasok yung information na manggagaling dito sa VCM. So, yun ang gagawin ng diagnostics natin. After diagnostics, ang susunod naman niya is mag-open voting kayo. Pagkatapos ng open voting, yun na, pwede na kayong magpasok ng mga balota. Then, after matapos nyo yung 10 na balota, we have the closed voting. So, magpiprint na kayo ng ERs and magta-transmit. Then, magra-write protect. Yung sinasabi naming write protect, para i-close na niya yung SD card. Pero dito sa demo namin, hindi pa kami magra-write protect. Pero sa actual election, meron tayong procedure na write protect. And then, shutdown. Pag shutdown natin, tapos na. So, ang gagawin nyo na lang is, for the BEI now to sign and tab mark all the documents that need to be signed. So, marami yung mga documents na yon. Kung meron kayong kopya ng GI, nandun naman lahat yung mga documents na yon na kailangang nating pirmahan. So, if you have further questions, then maybe we can have the questions before Leo can make the demo. Leo mamaya, kasi hindi pa nila nakita yung actual. Baka mas marami silang tanong pag naipakita mo na demo.
Okay, good afternoon. Today I'll walk you through the process on how to operate the machine. Okay, so after doing an inventory of the paraphernalia materials like the ballots, the pens, the scissors and everything, we have to set up the machine. No, before we set up the machine, of course, the BI has to show that there is nothing inside the ballot box. Okay, so after showing the watcher that there's nothing inside the ballot box, so they put the top cover, no? Okay, and make sure that these locks are engaged. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and another for the other side, no? And 2 dito and 2 po doon. Make sure it's properly locked and engaged. Then they would have to open this cover. Then the BI will mount, no, the VCM on top of the ballot box. Okay. So they just have to put that over the top cover and just slide for it to lock, and also secure this lock at the back. Okay. Yeah. Can we see that? Yeah. Yes, and secure this lock. Okay. Then after that, they will have to attach the power source, say from the DC adapter, no? Because if we're going to use the DC adapter, the machine can draw power from a standard wall outlet, yung 220 outlets natin, okay? Then we plug it in, okay? Then we attach the batteries to the battery cables, of course observing the color coding, red for positive, then black for negative. Okay? Then after that, they would plug the battery cable to the port where it is assigned, okay? Then we also have to check if the SD cards are installed. This is where the SD cards are installed, okay? Here, itong A, this is the primary card, the black one, okay? Here. Okay, that's the SD card and it is installed in this port. Okay, you just have to push that in, then close. And the backup card is on the B slot. Actually, if you'll notice, this is colored blue. Okay, the black one is for the primary card and the blue one is the backup. Okay, and these ports, no, these covers are supposed to be sealed on election day with a plastic seal. Okay, may plastic seal po yan. Make sure na merong plastic seal po yan. Then after that, we install the thermal paper. Of course, we just have to determine which side is the printing side. No, then we insert that. Then lock. Okay? So that's how we install the thermal paper. Then we boot up the machine. Okay? The power button is located here. Okay? That's the second compartment from the DC adapter port. Okay? We just press that to boot up the machine. Okay, let's just wait for the machine to boot up. Okay? When the machine starts the process of booting up, it will display the software version, like this one. Of course, the logo of Comelec. You will see there the version number. Then right now, it is verifying the hash codes. After this, it will display the hash code. The use of the hash code is to determine if we are using a trusted build. No? The trusted build is the software, is a compiled software from the source code that was certified by the reviewers and deposited in escrow at the Bangko Sentral. Okay? Yeah, now it's computing the system hash, and after this, it will display, okay, the hash codes. And by the way, while the machine is booting up, each member of the Board of Election Inspectors will be assigned a security key or I button. One for the chairman, another for the poll clerk, and another for the third member. Okay? And corresponding to this PIN code, to this security key are PIN codes. So each regular member of the BI has its own PIN code. Okay? Yeah, ito na po yung hash code, no? Nandiyan din yung information about the present, no? Yung clustered present niya, yung established present comprising that cluster, yung polling center na assignment niya, as well as yung area kung saan siya naka-assign. Kagaya nito sa Tuba Benguet ito naka-assign, mama, no? Then after that, we will see this screen, no? Well, practically, pardon the word, what we have at this point is a dumb machine. No? Kahit ano pindutin po natin dyan, remember, this is touchscreen that the machine will not operate. We need to insert the security key. Okay? Okay, we need to insert the security key dito sa receptacle for the I button. Okay? If it is the chairman, no, who will operate the machine, we will just be needing one PIN code. Okay? But to open the machine, we will need initially the other members to operate. So, these members, the other two members, the poll clerk and the third member, no, should be working in tandem. Okay? So if it is the chairman, isa lang. If it is the other members, laging dalawa ang mag-ooperate ng machine. So try po natin. Okay? So we insert yung security key for the poll clerk. Okay? Then we select kung anong role niya. Okay? So nakalagay niya members, we select member. Then ito na. So poll clerk siya. So press natin yung poll clerk, tapos yung PIN code for the poll clerk. So that's 34449 for this machine. Okay? Then after that, no, hahanapin naman niya yung PIN code for the other member. So we press member. Then yung PIN code niya is 57787. 77. Okay? So laging dalawa, no? Pagka yung other members ang mag-ooperate. Then, after this, lalabas po yung what tinatawag natin na administration panel. No? Because our machine is menu-driven. So every operation and functionalities of the machine is defined dito sa screen na to. So we press elections, open voting, because obviously we're going to open yung makina natin. Then, ito yung confirmation ng PIN code. Okay, yung poll clerk is 34449. Then yung third member is 57877. Okay? Then after this, no, magi-initialize na yung makina natin. Okay? Pag nag-initialize siya, it will generate what we call the initialization report. What's contained in the initialization report, of course, is the description of the cluster present, like this one. Ang sabi niya, machine ID number, HPM so and so, location, no, poblasyon, Tuba Benguet, Cordillera Autonomous Region. Then polling center, Tuba Central School. Then cluster present number niya, ito 1113001. And the established present comprising that cluster. No, kagaya nito, 0001A, 1B, 2A, and 2B. Then the number of registered voters assigned to that cluster. Di ba? Ang clustering natin, ano? Di ba? Maximum of 800 voters per clustered present or a maximum of 4 established present per cluster. No, but not necessarily eksaktong 800, depende yan kasi dun sa size ng barangay. Okay? So, and also, ang nakalagay din dito, number of voters who actually voted. Since we're still initializing the machine, what should be the value? 0. Okay? Then next, now, number of valid ballots cast, so it's still 0. Then the list of the names of the candidates. Then of course, yung tally niya should be 0. Okay? Then, dun sa baba niya, we have the description ng makina niya, like yung system software, yung software version, the OS version, system hash. By the way, yung system hash, no, the major political parties will be given, no, itong system hash na to, and they can check kung tama yung generate ng makina. Because all machines should generate the same hash code. No? That means that we are using a trusted build. Because if we're not using a trusted build, hindi magagamit yung makina. And also, we have the space, no, where the BIs affixes their thumbprint and their signature. No? Yung chairman, yung poll clerk, and the third members. And of course, this should be signed by 3 watchers. Okay? Meron tayong space para dyan. Okay? So, pakita ko ano ko sa inyo para ano. Because the watchers, no, also has the right to examine yan kung tama yung mga nandyan. Then after this, to prepare the machine para mag-accept na lang ng ballots, we press back and sabi na doon, please insert ballot. So naka-boot up na yung makina natin. Now, wala niya ulit na operation except yung feeding nung balota natin. Okay? So, Ma'am Celia, yung ano na, yun na yung how we boot up yung makina. So, do you have any other procedures to describe yung process? Okay, I'll describe the ballot na muna. Okay. So, for 2016, we will be using the modern ballot. The same ballot configurations that we use in the 2010 and the 2013 elections. No? Compared to the manual elections, no, the modern ballot, yung pinaka-main feature ng modern ballot, the names of the candidates are already pre-printed in the ballot. Diba? Now, for the voters, no, to cast their vote, all they have to do is to shade the ovals corresponding to the name of the candidate of our choice. Of course, meron tayong instruction dito sa taas. Nakalagay niyang paraan ng pagboto. Kita ba, sir? Paraan ng pagboto, number 1, itiman ang loob ng bilog sa tabi ng pangalan ng kandidatong napili. Yun nga, di ba? We shade the ovals corresponding to the name of the candidate of our choice. The number 2, gumamit lamang ng marking pen sa pagmarka. In each polling present, meron tayong mga designated na pen na gagamitin doon. Okay? Reminder, no? Paki-remind lang po yung voters, pareho ng balota, they cannot take this out of the present. Because that will constitute an election offense, and an election offense, attorney, di ba? Punishable by imprisonment 1 to 6 years. Okay. Okay. So, ayun. Then number three na instructions, huwag bumoto ng labis sa nakatalagang bilang sa napiling posisyon. Do not overvote. Now, for every position, naka-specify po yung kailangang boto, no? The number of voters required for that position. Say, for president, we vote for 1, right? Nakalagay yan dyan. And for vice president, no, we vote for 1. Senators, we vote for 12, then pababa. Okay? So, kung yung voters, no, naglagay na ng choice niya doon, of course, the proper way of accomplishing the ballot is, say, parang gano'n, di ba, shadean mo, no? Assuming that the voter changes his mind, nag-shade pa siya ulit for that particular position, gagawin to sa president, dalawa yung sinade niya. So that is an overvote. And an overvote is not a valid vote. But yung overvote, no, will not invalidate the whole ballot. No? Only in the position where you overvote ang hindi niya bibilangin. So let's say pagkatapos niya, nag-shade siya ng isa doon sa vice president. So that is a proper vote, di ba? Then let's say doon sa senator, let's say isa lang or dalawa lang yung sinada niya, is that a valid mark? Yes, because an undervote is a valid vote, no? So yun, you can even abstain if you want. Lalagay lang nung ano dyan, let's say for specific position, ayaw botohan ng botante natin, they can just leave it blank. Pag nag-print yung voters verifiable paper audit trail natin or the VVPAT, lalagay lang doon na abstention. By the way, we don't call it the voter receipt. We always call it the voters verifiable paper audit trail. VVPAT, PAT, voters verifiable paper audit trail, no? Voters receipt. Kasi if we call it the voters receipt, the danger is, 'di ba, kung merong pilosopo, yung resibo may entitlement. Right? So kung resibo, that's my receipt. That's supposed to be mine. Diba? But very specific yung procedure that the voters cannot take, diba, the receipt outside of the polling place. Sabi nga natin, diba, attorney? Election offense din siya. Okay? So yun. So yung procedure sa voting. By the way, yung natin ngayon, yung configuration, noon kasi, di ba, yung isang side niya is for the national position, yung kabila is for the local. Ngayon, party list yung isang side, then all the regular positions nandun sa kabilang side. Okay? And yung ballot natin can also be inserted in 4 orientations. Di ba? Kaya sinabi natin doon, the voters has 4 opportunities to feed their ballot. So yung right side up niya, front and back, yung upside down, front and back. So they have also 4 attempts to insert their ballot. Kung let's say in-insert niya in one orientation, hindi tinanggap, they just have to flip the ballot, feed niya ulit hanggang matapos 'yon. Kung hindi pa rin tinanggap at ni-reject pa rin yung balota, babalik yung voter sa BEI, then lalagyan siya ng ano ilalagay niyo pag binalik po yung balota sa inyo? Lalagay niya? Okay, rejected and pipirmahan din, di ba, nung other members. Okay, then we have an envelope para dito. Okay, so yun po yung procedure kung ni-reject yung balota. Okay, so let's try po mag-feed ng ballot doon sa makina. Para makita natin, so lagay na lang natin na mark dito para may demonstrate po natin kung ano makikita natin. So, nagboto tayo ng isa for president, i-overvote natin yung vice president, i-undervote naman natin yung senators, then abstention tayo sa ibang position. Okay? So, yung proper way of inserting pala the ballot, no? Di ba binibigyan natin ng ballot secrecy folder yung mga voters, no? Ang proper way is naka-insert siya doon, naka-ano siya doon sa ballot secrecy folder, no? Tsaka niya insert doon sa makina. Okay? So, noon po, di ba, yung dating na yung dating training na ginawa natin, meron siyang on-screen verification, di ba, na 15 seconds. Okay? But this time, since we will be printing the VVPAT, yung window na lang for the voters to view the on-screen verification is 1 minute. After 1 minute, magta-time out siya, then magpiprint yung makina nung tinatawag natin na 1 second. Sorry. 1 second. Noon, 15 seconds. This time, 1 second. 1 second na lang siya. After 1 second, mag-ano siya. After 1 second, magta-time out siya, then magpiprint ng VVPAT. Ito yung bagong procedure, no? Nung pag-ano natin. Yung third member, dapat nandun siya dun sa likod ng makina, no? Then, siya yung mag-kakat nung... Can I please? Siya yung magkakat nung VVPAT. Okay? Ikakat siya, then ibibigay dun sa botante. Pagpabigay dun sa botante, if the voter wants to review yung nakaprint dun sa VVPAT niya, paki-instruct na lang po na doon siya, doon sa malapit dun sa receptacle para dun sa voter receipt. So insert, niya doon, pagka doon, dadalhin niya doon, tapos tsaka babalik niya yung ballot secrecy folder, yung marker, at tsaka siya lalagyan ng indelible ink. Okay? Paano kung, let's say, kino-contest nung... Miss Elia, do I discuss yung pag doon kino-contest? Ikaw na? Okay. Okay.
Yung procedure, pag kinat ni third member yung receipt, the third member will first put an indelible ink to the voter before handing over the receipt para hindi talaga makawala yung voter na hindi malagyan ng indelible ink. Kasi doon natin makikita yung mga uulit na boboto, kailangang ma-indelible ink. So after cutting yung receipt, the BEI will first put indelible ink to the forefinger of the voter before handing the receipt. So yung receipt, i-discuss mo kung paano i-appreciate. Kasi yung voter receipt na ito, yung katulad ng sinabi kanina ni Leo na if overvote, ang makikita natin sa presidente, walang lalabas na candidate kung sino ang ibinoto niya. Ang lalabas sa receipt ay overvote. Kung undervote naman, like for example, senators, ang binoboto natin sa senators ay 12. Pero undervote kung ang binoto ay 11, pababa. So kung ang binoto ng voter ay 4 lang na pangalan, ang makikita natin sa voter receipt, 4 lang na pangalan, then all the other 8, ilalagay na niya ay undervote. 8 undervote. So yun yung makikita ng voter sa receipt.
Okay, so yun yung makikita natin. So i-enumerate niya yung mga minark natin doon. Like let's say kanina, 'di ba, in-overvote natin yung position for vice president, nakalagay doon overvote. Then yung binoto natin doon sa president, then yung mga pangalan ng choices natin, then undervote na lahat 'yon. If you left a position blank, hindi mo binotohan, ang nakalagay doon abstention. Okay? So for the procedures kung kung i-contest, let's say nung botante, no? Ang gagawin niya is pipirmahan niya sa likod, no? Pipirmahan niya sa likod yung receipt, surrender it dun sa Board of Election Inspector. Then the Board of Election Inspector, ilalagay niya doon sa minutes of voting, i-attach siya ngayon doon sa minutes of voting. Okay? Papipirmahan niyo po yung voter receipt. Attorney, pwede mo silang instruct about yung frivolous mamaya na. Okay. So yun ba lang po yung procedure procedure para doon sa pag-cast ng vote. Okay? Then after na let's say ang voting time natin is from 6 a.m. until 5 p.m. po, di ba? Automatic ba that we close the precinct at 5 p.m.? No, because we still apply the 30-meter rule, di ba? If the voter is within the 30-meter radius from their polling present, they can still vote. Okay? Ang procedure is one of the members of the Board of Election Inspectors, lalabas siya, kukunin yung mga pangalan ng mga botante na nandun sa within the 30-meter radius. Then pagkatapos, tatawagin yan isa-isa. No? 2 beses sila tatawagin. Okay? Ngayon, kung namasyal pa sa mall, tinawag ng 2 beses, then that forfeits their right to vote. No, kung tinawag na sila ng 2 beses. Then pagdating ng pagdating na nakaboto ng lahat, then tsaka natin isasara yung makina. So let's say nakaboto na siyang lahat, okay? Now we need to close yung makina. Okay? Then the procedures for that, di ba sabi ko nga, di ba, to operate the machine, we have to bring up the administration panel. No? So how do we do that? We insert the security key. So, insert natin siya dun sa receptacle. This time, chairman ang gagawa nito. Okay? We press yung chairman, then yung PIN code, 82055. Then we select yung election ulit. Then close voting. Okay? At this point, no, pwede na nating insert yung communications device. Okay? Okay, kung nandun tayo doon sa areas na merong signal, yung mga cell sites natin, di ba, like yung Globe, Smart, or Sun, we will be using yung kagaya nito, yung broadband stick. Okay, lahat po tayo familiar na dito. But in other areas, no, na medyo mahirap ang signal, we use yung BGAN or the Broadband Global Area Network, at yung isa na pwede pang gamitin is the iSavvy. Yung iSavvy, yun yung replace natin doon sa VSAT. Okay? If we will be using the broadband stick, yung port niya nandito po sa likod. Can we show it in the camera? Ayan, nandito po yung port niya. Okay? This is where we insert the communications device if we will be using yung broadband stick. Okay? But kung ang gagamitin natin, let's say, is either the BGAN or the iSavvy, nandito po yung port niya. Sir, can we? Ito yung port niya, okay? So this port has an RJ45 jack. No, kung gagamitin natin is either the BGAN or the iSavvy, dito natin siya insert. Okay? So, after inserting the communications device, choose na natin yung gagawin natin operation. So this time, close voting. Then yung PIN code ng chairman. Okay? So, pagkatapos yan, ito yung bagong procedure po, di ba? Yung pag-administer ng digital signature. For the digital signature, laging 3 ang required na digital signature. Hindi po yung kagaya ng procedure for the PIN code sa pag-operate ng machine. To close the machine, 3 PIN code ang kailangan natin. So pagkatapos, ipaprompt tayo dito, no? Sabi dito, press OK, then add a digital signature, then we insert the key. So, we press OK, then i-prank natin yung security key, say for the chairman, then input yung digital signature niya, 00101. If you notice, iba yung digital signature dun sa PIN code. Okay? Then after that, yes ulit, then say sa poll clerk naman, we insert yun sa poll clerk, then 00102. Then, yung sa third member. Yes. Then, insert. Then, 00104. Okay? So, at this point, tsaka lang magbibilang yung makina. Kanina, during the process po ng voting, hindi pa binibilang ng makina yung boto natin. So pagkatapos niya, na-close na natin, then this machine will generate 8 copies of the election returns. O, no? 8 sets of the election returns. Okay, so this time meron na siyang boto. Okay, number of voters who actually voted, 1, then yung mga binoto natin. At generate niya yung election returns for the national position and the local position. Again, 8 copies. Pero stop ko na lang po kasi kukumpletohin niya tong okay. Then ito yung sa local position. Okay? Then of course, kagaya dun sa initialization report, pirma plus thumbprint ng BEI and signature nung tatlong watchers. Okay? Okay, so ma'am, ito po yung sample nung Ito yung sample nung election returns. Though walang boto yan eh. So after printing the 8 copies of the election returns, the machine will now attempt to transmit yung results from your present. No? Ang tinatransmitan niya, it will transmit to the transparency server. Yung transparency server po located sa PAYUS, ang gagamit niyan will be the member of the KBP, or the media. And yung mga accredited citizens arm natin like PPCRB and NAMPREL, at yung dominant parties, the dominant majority party and the dominant minority party. Pagkatapos na mag-transmit dyan, then it will transmit naman do sa Municipal Board of Canvassers. No? Then after transmitting doon, it will also transmit dun sa transparency server natin. No? Para doon sa presinto, make sure nakatransmit siya dun sa Municipal Board of Canvassers. Yung question, meron ako nabasang question doon, paano kung hindi makatransmit? Meron tayong tinatawag na contingency plan. Di-discuss po later ni Director Romero. But for the machine, ma'am, can I mention yung procedure? Okay, kung hindi siya makatransmit, ang nakalagay doon sa contingency plan natin, you can use yung transmission device from the other present. Okay? Then attempt ka na mag-transmit. If your machine cannot still transmit, Ma'am Celia, correct me if I'm wrong. Yung dati po kasi, di ba, you can use yung other machine. But this time, ang nilakalagay doon sa contingency plan, you will bring the whole machine malapit doon sa canvassing area, then attempt to transmit. So after 3 attempts, kung hindi pa siya makapag-transmit, then that will be the time na magma-manual upload ka. Sa process ng manual upload, you have to remove yung SD card, then isubmit dun sa Board of Canvassers for manual upload. Make sure lang po, though hindi ko na siya mabalikan at this point, make sure na pag-close na yung present, magawa yung right protect, yung procedure niya to right protect the SD card para hindi na malagyan ng data yung makina. Pero yung right protect, reminder, paulit-ulit, baka kasi doon sa FTS, iyon ang procedure na hindi nyo gagawin. Yung right protect. Kasi pag ni-right protect mo yan, hindi na magagamit yan on May 9, which is election day. Ang dyan, ang gagamitin mo lang, after the FTS, make sure na na-zero yung makina. But wag pong gamitin yung procedure to right protect. Okay? Kasi pag ni-right protect mo na, practically hindi natatanggap ng data yung makina mo. Okay? So, Ma'am Celia, balik ko sa inyo. I'm just waiting kasi for the transmission report. After this, nag-a-attempt kasi siya mag-transmit. Pag naka-print na yung transmission report, ipapaikot ko na lang po sa inyo. Ma'am Celia?
Okay, so yung contingency measures natin is embodied on resolution number 10101. Wala na kaming PowerPoint dito. So for the contingency procedures, we need to know what is our NTSC because NTSC will be manning most of the contingency procedures. NTSC stands for the National Technical Support Center. And inside this National Technical Support Center, we also have the CC or Command Center. Yung Command Center will handle all the administrative problems during election day, while the NTSC will handle all related automated issues or concern. So ang pinaka-procedure natin sa contingency natin, naka-itemize siya dito pero meron lang tayong general rules na ang gagawin ng BEI kung meron siyang problemang may encounter on automated issues, kailangang hanapin niya yung tinatawag naming VCM technician. So there are VCM technicians in polling centers and we also have VCM technical coordinators. So ang maghe-head sa ating mga VCM technicians are the so-called VCM technical coordinators. Yung mga coordinators na yon, sila mismo ang diretsyong tatawag sa tinatawag nating NTSC or the National Technical Support Center. Pero parang sinabi sa amin na hindi namin sasabihin yung place kung nasaan yung NTSC for security reason. So yung sinasabi naming NTSC is like a call center. Marami po tayong agents, something like 800, to man all the concerns, problems, and issues nationwide on election day. So ang gagawin ng ating BEI, kailangang malaman niya kung sino ang assigned na VCM technician sa kanyang polling center or polling place. Kahit si DepEd supervisor, he or she must know who are the VCM technicians and who are the VCM technical coordinators. Kasi sila po yung pagsasabihan ni BEI ng problema or issues on technical matters at si VCM technical coordinator ang mismong tatawag sa aming NTSC. Kasi the VCM technicians are provided with numbers but they can only do is text. Pero si VCM coordinator pwede siya ng call. So kailangang malaman ni BEI sino yung kanyang VCM technician. So katulad kanina, kasi today is the first day of the final testing and sealing. May mga areas pa na walang makina. So ang nasa GI natin is that the VCM technician will hand over the VCM machine to the BEI. Pero kung nawawala si ating VCM technician, saan ngayon hahanapin ni BEI ang kanyang makina? So it is very important that the BEI know who is their VCM technician. So yung general procedure natin on the contingency is that, of course, the BEI will inform the VCM technician on the issue. The VCM technician will further inform the VCM technical coordinator. Then the VCM technical coordinator will inform the NTSC or the National Technical Support Center for whatever issue na kanilang natatanggap at si NTSC naman ay ang magbibigay ng solution doon sa problema. Pero kung kaya namang i-handle ni VCM technician yung problema like yung ating printer ay naubusan ng thermal paper, alanganin naman si BEI IT na magpalit ng kanyang thermal paper. So tawagin lang niya ang kanyang VCM technician para palitan yung thermal paper. Or kung halimbawa natatakot siya na isuksok yung ating yung transmission natin, yung stick natin. So, tatawagin lang niya si VCM technician. Pero for other major problems na hindi kayang isolve ni VCM technician, kailangang i-elevate niya yung problem sa ating VCM technical coordinator para makakuha ng solution sa ating NTSC. Ang pinakagrabe doon ay like for example, nag-bug down yung ating VCM. So we need a replacement VCM. So the VCM technician will elevate to the VCM TC, and then the VCM TC will request from the NTNC authority for a replacement VCM. Authority lang yung sinasabi namin because we have different regional hubs for contingency VCM. Kaya kung meron na siyang authority from the NTSC na mag-replace ng VCM, dadalhin lang ni kung sino man yung available doon na tao, siguro mag-coordinate na lang si DepEd, supervisor at saka yung ating election officer, kung sino yung hindi busy, yung bang VCM technician o kaya yung VCM technical coordinator, sino ang authorized na kukuha ng VCM replacement sa ating mga hubs. Sino ang authorized na kukuha ng ating replacement SD cards? Sino ang authorized na kukuha ng mga replacement I-button? Kasi kung yung VCM, kung yung SD card ang nag-malfunction at saka itong I-button natin ang nag-malfunction, we cannot do otherwise but to wait for a replacement. Kasi ito hindi na ko-configure sa field. Kailangang manggagaling ito sa ating mga hubs. So kung ang replacement VCM ang nasira, may mga procedures tayo dito na siguro hindi naman na natin ngayon kailangang isa-isahin kasi dito naman sa ating resolution nakalagay naman yan step 1, step 2, at saka friendly naman yung resolution, nakalagay naman siya sa layman's term yung paglagay ng wordings niya dito. So madali lang naman siyang i-follow. Pero yun nga lang yung general procedure natin na kailangan i-elevate natin yung issue ng mga levels natin hanggang makarating sa ating NTSC or the National Technical Support Center. Ngayon naman kung ang issue natin ay administrative like, pagdating natin doon sa treasurer, pero sa treasurer na to binigay na sa inyo yung balota, pero pagdating natin sa ating area, like for example, dadaan pa tayo ng lake, yung BEI, biglang nahulog yung balota, nabasa. Hindi na yun technical. Related lang sa technical, pero may mga issues kami na gano'n, nakabangka sila, tumaob yung bangka, so nahulog yung balota. Yung mga ganong issue, kailangan sa ating command center naman ipaparating. Maybe you can call outright yung election officer natin kasi balota ito, kung matutuloy ba yung election or makakapaghintay ba tayo ng replacement ballots. Mga ganong administrative aspect, kasama pa rin sa ating NTSC, but the part of the NTSC who will handle this one is now our command center. So may mga procedures din tayo na kung halimbawa nag-jam yung ballots natin, siguro yun nga yung sinasabi ko, tawagin na lang yung ating VCM technician, although pwede rin namang gawin ng ating BEI kasi kung nag-jam lang, na madali namang, kung ang balota nakikita pa natin na nakalabas, nag-jam lang kasi puno na yung ballot box natin or siguro dito sa kanyang ballot entry, ballot exit, yung nasa ilalim ng BCM natin, ay hindi na makababa yung ating balota, pwede nating dahan-dahan na hilain. Pwede yung gawin ng ating BEI. Or kung halimbawa naman hindi na natin makita yung ating balota pero nakalagay dito na ballot jam sa screen natin, pwede nating i-lift yung ating BCM at kunin sa ilalim ng BCM yung balota. Or kung halimbawa naman, puno na yung ating ballot box, pero baka hindi naman mapuno, kasi 800 na lang yung ballots natin. Unlike in the previous elections that our clustering is 1,000, pwede nating buksan yung, or hindi buksan, pwede nating tanggalin itong ating BCM at alug-alugin yung ballot box para bumaba yung ibang balota, magkaroon ng space for all other ballots. Yung sinasabi nyo kanina na walang transmission, so ano ang contingency natin sa walang transmission? The COMELEC is providing BGAN for areas na talagang during the survey ay wala talagang signal. So magpro-provide kami ng VGAN, pero kung halimbawa mag-provide kami ng BGAN kasi in previous elections, meron kaming experience na kahit nag-training na yung BEI, nag-training na yung ating mga technical support, pero meron pa ring instances na hindi nila mapagana yung BGAN. So kahit provided sila ng BGAN, of course, wala pa ring transmission na mangyayari. Ang sinasabi namin sa ating contingency plan is to manually upload yung ating SD card. Ano ang manually upload? Pupunta sila sa ating Board of Canvasser na nasa munisipyo at doon na lang i-upload sa kanyang laptop yung SD card. Pero kung magawan natin ng paraan na pwede nating i-transfer yung BCM natin sa kabilang polling center, which I doubt kung halimbawa meron tayong problem of peace and order condition in the area, then ang sinasabi namin sa field is that mag-coordinate na lang yung BEI at saka yung election officer kung ano yung extent ng paghanap ng signal. Pupunta ka ba sa kabilang kwarto? Pupunta ka ba sa kabilang barangay? Pupunta ka ba sa kabilang eskwelahan? Or magdiretso ka na lang doon sa ating munisipyo kung saan na andun yung ating Board of Canvassers. So ang sinasabi namin, mas alam ng election officers and the BEI kung ano ang situation ng kanilang area, so mas makapag-usap sila kung ano ang extent ng contingency on that aspect. Pag-usapan nila kung halimbawa meron talagang very risky yung area, so bakit gabi na pupunta ka pa sa kabilang barangay or kabilang polling center na alam mo naman na hindi na safe. So ang sinasabi namin sa kanila, dumiretso na lang sila sa aming Board of Canvasser at doon na lang mag-manual upload ng SD cards. So yung procedure natin, ito po yung general guidelines na naka-level up siya hanggang sa ating NTSC. Andito po yung ating resolutions. Maybe we can give the DepEd copy of the contingency measures para kung hindi pa lahat na ibigay sa ating mga BEI, then maybe they can help COMELEC to give also copies of this one to our respective BEIs.
Marami pong salamat, Director Romero. So ngayon po, punta na po tayo dun sa mga tanong mula sa sa mga nanonood po ng ating demo. Mukhang ang isa pong nakikita naming malaking tanong ng mga teachers dito related po doon sa replacement ballots. Ito po, isa pong nagtatanong nga tungkol sa GI na tungkol doon sa replacement ballot, kung ano ba talaga daw ang dapat nilang gawin. Tapos yung isa po ay nagtatanong paano daw ba nila, if in case of discrepancy with what is printed on the receipt, how can we pacify the voter that his vote will not be wasted? So, ma'am, paano po nila yun i-handle kaya? Yung isa pong, what if hindi po tugma ang resibo sa binoto niya? Anong gagawin namin? Baka po kami awayin. Kawawa naman. Ano po bang gagawin nila, ma'am? Totoo po ba yun? Agam-agam niyo po iyon. Okay.
Katulad ng sinabi namin earlier, para hindi magbago yung ibinoto ng ating botante is that the chairman must instruct the voter on how to accomplish the ballot. Shade fully the ovals, use the prescribed marking pen, at saka yung pagpasok niya dito sa ating VCM is the 4 orientations. Ngayon, kung ginawa lahat ng voter natin, yung kinatatakutan natin na hindi lumalabas yung ibinoto niya sa dapat na ine-expect ng voter, which we in COMELEC is expecting na walang mangyayaring ganoong issue or scenario, we have the contingency that we will instruct the voter to write his name at the back of the voter receipt, sign the voter receipt, then submit it to our BEI as part of the minutes of voting so that we can investigate further. At saka ang sinasabi natin na ito, kung ito ay nagsisinungaling yung ating voter, then we can consider this as an election offense. Later on, our attorney here will explain more on that aspect, the legal aspect of that. So, ganun po. Papirmahin natin si voter na nagre-reklamo doon sa likod ng kanyang voter receipt at hindi natin ilalagay sa ating black box yung voter receipt na yon at ipapalagay natin sa minutes of voting na part ng ating minutes para later on pwede nating investigate further yung issue na yon. Yun ang sasabihin natin sa voter natin. At saka yung BEI natin dapat i-take out niya yung voter na nagsasabi na bakit ito ay hindi parehas ng aking ibinoto.
So ma'am, to clarify, yung BEI, kailangan niyang, so in effect, the voter who claims na hindi tama yung pagkakabasa ng machine nung kanyang binoto, kailangan siyang mag-take oath.
Kasi di na natin makikita yung balota niya. Nasa loob na ng ano. We can no longer compare yung voter receipt kung talagang mali yung inilabas dahil ang balota niya is nasa loob na ng ballot box. And we cannot identify the ballot of that particular voter kasi wala naman tayong serial number ngayon. Pero kailangan niyang mag-take oath para pinaninindigan niya na itong claim niyang ito ay tama na hindi talaga parehas sa kanyang ibinoto.
Ma'am, related to that, ito tanong actually siya ng isang botante naman. Pag nagkamali po ang receipt, ano ang assurance ng voter na na-record yung incident? May matatanggap ba siyang kopya ng report? Tapos may reference tracking daw ba? Yung voter complaints. Attorney Genevieve Guevara ng Legal.
Good afternoon. So, I've been in charge of printing the official ballots for the past 3 months. Basically, the manual ballots, the automated ballots, we've printed them with the National Printing Office in Quezon City. So, one of the things that I always say pagka nagte-training po kami ng mga Board of Election Inspectors is that later po natin i-discuss yung sa resita. Sa rejected ballots muna tayo. Kasi we always say na asan po ba yung balota natin? Bakit daw po ba nare-reject ang ballot? What are the causes that will make yung official ballot ma-reject ng VCM? In our experience from the verification of the official ballots, mapapansin niyo po, meron pong nakalagay ng mga timing marks. Yung timing marks po na yan, this is what the VCM will read to be able to know kung saan niya ipaplot yung nakashade. So if ever pinasok niyo po dito yung anything that has a mark, kunwari madumi yung kamay ni voter or madumi yung nalagay na patong niya sa madumi, nalagyan ng something or not punit o dahil masyado siyang excited mag-fill up ng balot niya, nalagyan niya ng marking pen. Hindi naman po yun something na nasa control na ng BEI. It's something that is within the control of the voter. So dito po sa previously in our resolutions, hindi po talaga tayo nag-i-issue ng replacement ballot. Kasi the only ground that we saw before that is pwede natin siya issuehan ng panibagong ballot is if the ballot is not the ballot for that precinct. Yun lang yung nakikita nating ground before. Now kasi, pwede na tayong mag-issue under the amendments, pwede tayong mag-issue ng replacement ballots if it is not due to the fault, ang nakalagay is not due to the fault of the voter. So how do we define yung not fault of the voter? Napaka-broad nun if kung titignan natin. So we always instruct our BEIs na before you give the ballot to the voter, make sure na malinis po yung balota niya. And we make sure that the voter knows that. Kumbaga, dapat, before you can protect yourself, dapat inform din po yung ating voter na pag inabot nyo po sa kanya yung kanyang balota, di ba nag-authenticate si chairman dito? Naglalagay siya ng signature niya dito. And mind you, failure to authenticate is a election offense. So, before po natin ibibigay yung ay, ang dami. Worried si madam. Okay. Before po natin ibigay yung balota, pipirma po tayo dito. Now, I have got to tell you that dito sa banda rito, hindi po yan dapat lalagyan ng any markings. Kasi meron pong UV ink dito sa pinakataas. There's an invisible UV ink here and at the back. Kapag po masyadong malaki ang pirma ni chairman, lumagpas-lagpas dito sa box, may tendency po na kapag yung UV ink na lagyan ng any mark, pwede rin po yung i-cause ng rejection ng ballot. Okay? So makikita nyo rin po, dito sa baba, meron ding barcode. Parang may barcode. This is the serial number of your ballot. It's a unique serial number that is only for such a ballot. Kumbaga, this is its thumbprint. Wala pong magkaparehong balot tayong ginawa kasi kung ilan po ang balot ang inimprenta natin, yun din po ang dami ng serial number combination nito. So this is around 54 million kasi we have 54 million official ballots. So pag yan po nalagyan din ng mark, pwede din po yung maging cause. Nagtatanong sila, paano kung masyado excited si voter, masyado niyang sinedan yung oval na butas? Pwede bang basahin ni VCM yon? Hindi or depende? Actually, pwede pa niyang basahin yon. Pwede pa rin. Basta wala dito sa timing mark, wala dito sa taas, wala dito sa baba. Dito sa gilid. Pag napunit yan, pero hindi natamaan yung timing mark, pwede pa rin yun. I've seen it and it can be. Pag napunit itong ganito, napunit sa taas, hindi rin. Hindi yan babasahin. Kasi anything that has, na matouch yung black, marireject talaga yan. Meron din namang mga ovals, pag nag-shade, hindi niya masyadong shinade, marireject din yon. Ambiguous kasi. So hindi alam ni machine kung binobotohan ba niya to o hindi. So dapat talaga is i-fully shade ni botante. So yung mga dati, yun yung mga experiences natin noong 2013. And also, we will be expecting na meron ganun din po yung 2016. So it's a rejected ballot talaga. The commission has not yet issued a definitive statement on what due to the fault of the voter means. But basically, what we really mean by that is that basta sa BEI, pag inabot mo na malinis, you expect na malinis siyang ibalik sa inyo. 'Di ba? That's only the kumbaga the common sense. So kung ayaw basahin ng VCM dahil madumi na, hindi na kasalanan ng BEI 'yon. Kasalanan na ng voter 'yon. Dapat kunwari nabasa, nalagyan ng tinta ng kung ano-ano. Kasi dapat ang BEI ang may control ng polling precinct niya, di ba? So you shouldn't be allowing food, water, drinks, picture. Yung may dalang baby, wala na tayong magagawa doon. But, kumbaga ba, dapat i-remind natin, ma'am, kasi isa lang ang balota mo. Pag yan nasira mo, hindi mo na yan mapapalitan. Kasi nasa yung responsibility na yan. Paano naman yun kung lahat na lang ng instances na hindi ko kasalanan, kunwari, nagmamadali siya, tumayo siya, napunit. May ganon. May ganon nang nangyari. Promise, meron na. Hindi natin yung pinalitan before. Well, yung sa ibang BIs, pinalitan nila. Kumbaga, it's something na, kumbaga, sa BIs, sila na yung may discretion on that, but we must emphasize na we only printed one ballot per voter. Hindi po tayo nag-imprenta ng contingency na 10% per precinct or plus 3 per precinct. Unlike before na meron tayong plus 3 pag may special voting privilege yung ating mga BIs. Ngayon po talaga, 1:1. So kung naubusan ka ng balota dahil palit ka ng palit dahil yung mga o yung mga botante mo sa'yo medyo clumsy or medyo, well, hindi na natin masabi kung ano pang maging dahilan nila. But the thing is, you can't just replace and replace. Merong hangganan yan. So wala pa rin naman tayong resolution on paano kung naubusan ka. So we cannot say that merong darating na additional or pwede mong gamitin yung ballots, pwede mong ipaboto sila doon sa kabilang voting precinct with the same district, which we did, by the way, nung 2010 and 2013 elections. But right now, for the 2016, we have not yet made any promulgation on what to do kapag po there is a shortage of ballots because of the replacement provision in the amendment. So we go to the voting precinct, yung sa receipt naman. Meron din po kasi tayo ngayon sa amendment na pag po daw pag ni-review ni botante na hindi yun yung boto niya, there is no way that we can know if frivolous yon or hindi. Kasi sabi, pag frivolous daw yon, ibig sabihin, frivolous, no basis. Gusto lang niyang gumawa ng scene or gusto lang niyang sumikat kasi, magiging sikat ako kapag sinabi ko na, hindi ko binoto tong si Mar, ang lumalabas si Digong. Ang binoto ko si Duterte, ang lumalabas si Mar. Binoto ko si Bongbong, lumalabas si Lenny. Maintindihan ko siguro yung kung madami na talaga. I mean, that's really large scale. Ngayon po kasi nakikita namin with the trend sa overseas, because we have been conducting overseas voting abroad, hindi po siya, kumbaga, hindi siya ganon karampant. And we don't have yet the exact number. Kasi nga sinasabi, nagrereklamo sila sa labas, hindi sa mismong BI. Ang daming nagsasabi na, alam niyo yung binoto ko si naman, tas ibang lumabas. Hindi niya sinabi sa BI. Yun yung madami. We have reports with the BIs themselves, pero hindi po yun ganun, kumbaga, compared to how much yung coverage ng mga tao nagrereklamo sa labas. Kasi ang pinaka-process po kasi niyan is, pag nakita na ni botante yung receipt niya at nakita niya na, ba't hindi ito yung binoto ko, ito yung lumabas. Dapat po magrereklamo na agad siya kay BI, And then the BI will say that, okay, we will note your objection that your receipt did not reflect who you voted for. Please sign the back. Hindi po siya kailangang maging madugo. Kasi wala talagang magagawa ang BI doon. Kumbaga, that's why we put a procedure so that the BIs can rely on that procedure and say na this is what we were told to do. Wala na po kaming magagawa kung gusto nyo pang i-level up o gusto nyo bang bawiin natin yung boto ninyo. At hindi na rin natin malalaman kung iyon talaga ay balota. Ay, hindi na natin talaga malalaman yon. So we put a procedure there that, okay, you give me your receipt, you sign at the back thereof, I will note in the minutes that you manifested that this does not reflect your true vote, and then we will attach it to the minutes. Those minutes will be submitted to the commission through the ERSD, yung sa amin pong Election Records and Statistics. It will be monitored by our field officials then. So if the numbers are piling up, so kung madami talaga siya, I guess it will warrant an investigation. And if this warrants an investigation, of course, gagamitin po yung mga receipt na napirmahan ninyo ng mga nagrereklamo as basis for determining if really there is an anomaly with the voting with the VCMs. But I can assure you, medyo meron pong mali. Well, siguro merong something to do with bakit nagkakaganon. One of the things na iniisip namin, well, pag hindi pa siya napoprove, but one of the things na parang nagiging cause kung bakit mali yung pagbasa, lalong-lalo na bakit daw si Mar ang nabobotohan, hindi si Duterte. Kasi po kung mapapansin nyo dun sa official ballot, ang magkatabi pong pangalan is si Duterte at si Mar. Makakatabi yan si Binay, Duterte, Mar. Yung number 1, may oval number 1, Binay, 3, si Duterte. Pwede niyang minamarkahan talaga yung oval for Mar. Kasi nakatapat din siya kay Duterte. Magkakatabi yun yung tatlong yan. Ang hindi ko ma-explain siguro bakit daw si Lenny ang lumalabas si Bongbong ang binobotohan. Kasi hindi magkatapat si Bongbong tsaka si Mar. Siguro lang medyo minsan nagbabago ng isip yung botante, lalo na bumoboto siya, na mamarkahan niya yung tingin niya, hindi makakount yon. Hindi natin alam Pero that should warrant, well, it's not saying that we're dismissing those kinds of report. I think, really, siguro, once na makita natin talaga, pero ngayon kasi hindi pa natin talaga siya makikita as it is. Kasi kailangan buksan natin ulit yung balota, titignan natin kung ano yung mga boto talaga. And that would warrant siguro its conduct after the elections na. So, yun ma'am, yung sa how can we appease the... You know, it's really frustrating for us then, really, kasi sabi nga namin, the Supreme Court decision on the issuance of the voter receipt is really an opening floodgates talaga yan ng kung ano-anong klaseng. Kaya naman, meron akong yung sinasabi ng mga botante na kung sabay-sabay, bakit mali? Bakit bawal na kunin ko yung resibo? Bakit bawal na picturean ko yung boto ko? Bakit bawal na mag-selfie ako kasama ng balota ko? Actually, in a sense talaga, hindi naman po talaga siya bawal. But we have, as the COMELEC, has the mandate to protect and preserve the sanctity of our ballot. If we do that, we are opening the doors to vote buying. Kasi oo nga naman, may karapatan ka naman. Kasi boto mo yan Pero sabi ko nga, the act of voting itself should be held at a pedestal. It's not something that you do just because gusto mo siyang gawin, but because it's a right and also a privilege. So as a privilege, hindi mo pwedeng gawin lahat ng gusto mo. Kasi nga, we are trying to prevent some things like yon, vote buying and making justification, oh, ito binoto kita. So, meron ka ng resibo for whatever. Sabi ko nga, matagal na pong batas yan. Nung nandun pa, nung manual elections pa, panahon pa po nung 1986, yung paggawa pa natin ng Omnibus Election Code, saka yung pag-issue natin ng resolutions, nandyan na po yan. Bawal pong gumawa ng kopya ng inyong boto. Ba't siya nagiging big deal ngayon sa tingin nyo? Kasi technology has made it possible for us to make easy reproductions of this. That's why it's a big issue now. Dati naman, hindi naman po yan issue. Kahit nga, dati nga yung paglalagay po ng indelible ink, kung titiisin, well, one of the things na bago ngayon is, napasok mo na yung ballot mo, nabasa na ng machine, na-count na niya, doon ka palang lalagyan ng indelible ink. Previously, pag manual elections, pag ayaw mong magpalagay ng indelible ink, hindi ilalagay yung balota mo sa loob ng ballot box. Spoiled agad yan. Spoiled talagan. Ayaw mo magpalagay eh. One of the things that would safeguard us from flying voters naman. Kaya kakailangan magpalagay ng... So these laws are not there out of whim lang ng COMELEC. They are there because we are protecting the votes. And your right and the privilege of every registered voter. So I hope sana na-enlighten din yung as our teachers, kasi nga gusto namin kayo na since kayo yung medyo nire-respeto, hindi medyo, talagang nire-respeto in your communities. You have the right and you have that position para sabihan yung mga tao na, yeah, the trusted ones. So, yun po, ma'am.
Ma'am, wag muna po kayong uupo. Kasi related po doon, what should BEIs do when they see an election offense? What should they do if someone reports an offense to them, i.e. someone using cell phone camera, leaving with the receipt, or writing on the ballot, vote buying?
If I follow the Commission's position on the matter, they consider it as an election offense. And being an election offense, ibig sabihin, it's a continuing crime. So the BEI can call upon any peace officer and tell them that to arrest. Kasi it's a continuing crime eh. It's an election offense. So, yun nga po yung sinasabi ko. Ang dami sa feed, makakapwa ko pa abogado na nagsasabi na, paano kung lahat tayo, picturean natin yung mga balota natin at sabay-sabay nating i-post sa Facebook? Huhuliin ba tayo lahat? Ikukulong ba tayo lahat? Ganon. Ganon ang ano nila. Ang ano ko naman is, bakit ngayon nagiging issue talaga yan? Previously, nandun na talaga yung rules na yan. So, sabi ko nga, wag nilang itest. Kasi kung talaga itetest nila, talagang it's an election offense. We cannot do anything about it. Kulong. Patawag ka ng pulis. Ayan kanina pa sinabihan na bawal, ganun ng ganun pa rin. Outright, pakulong siya. Pahuli. 1 year to 6 years. Pati yung sabi na, ay, hindi ito yung binoto ko sa receipt ko. Sooner or later, malalaman namin kung totoo o hindi. Yung allegations niya, so kaya namin pinapapirma rin para ma-record din namin na kung sino ba itong nagrereklamo na ito. Kasi once that we prove that it's a frivolous accusation, pwede rin po siyang makulong.
Marami talaga to. Related to that, so yun po, yung clarify natin yan kasi nabanggit na po yung frivolous complaints. Ano exactly paano ngayon sasabihin ng BI o frivolous na to?
At the onset po talaga hindi natin malalaman kung frivolous siya kasi ang frivolous means without basis. Hindi natin malalaman on the onset kung ano yon. But we have means of determining if it's frivolous. That's why we want to keep a record of it. That's why in our procedure, papapirmahin natin siya sa likod ng receipt niya, and then we will take it down sa minutes kung ano pangalan niya, reklamo siya na hindi yun yung ano. And then ididikit natin yung pinirmahan niyang resibo niya. And it would warrant investigation on our part din.
So ma'am, it's not declared immediately na frivolous siya. Okay.
We wouldn't know how we can establish frivolous at the onset. Kasi nga, hindi naman natin pwede, ay, nagsisinungaling ka. Kasi in the first place, hindi mo rin naman alam kung nagsasabi siya ng totoo o hindi. So it would warrant a investigation din.
So this is established after the fact at kailangang i-note ng BEI sa minutes yung mga complaints.
The receipt itself will be signed by the voter alleging that it is not what he or she voted for, and that it will be attached to the minutes. Hihiwalay po natin siya dun sa receipt receptacle. So ididikit po natin talaga siya sa minutes.
Okay. May paglalagyan po ba nun? Kasi sinabi niyo pong hiwalay po siya from the receipt receptacle. So saan po siya ilalagay ngayon?
After the election, the ballot box containing the ballots and the black box containing the receipts from the voters will be submitted by the BEI to the treasurer. Saan?
Contested.
Yung receipt na contested, kasi nakalagay lang sa ating amendment resolution is to let the voter sign at the back. Pero mas maganda siguro kung pati pangalan ng voter, yung full name niya, then signature ang ilalagay at the back. Kasi pag signature lang, parang mahirap nang hanapin kung sino yung taong yun eh. So siguro, baka kahit wala sa resolution, I suggest na mas maganda kung ipasulat natin yung pangalan ng voter and signature on top of the name. Then that will be attached and part of the minutes of voting to be submitted. Kasi yung dalawa yung minutes natin eh. One to be dropped inside the ballot box and the other one to be submitted to COMELEC. So since iisa lang naman yung voter receipt, I suggest na yung minutes na isasubmit hindi sa atin. Yung receipt na kasi isa lang yung voter receipt natin, di ba? Dalawa yung minutes of voting na pipil upan ng voter. One is to be deposited inside the ballot box and the other one to be submitted to the election officer. So yung voter receipt, kung saan natin ididikit na minutes of voting is the copy to be deposited inside the ballot box.
So, yung ano po, can you explain the rule, yung replacement ballots?
Hello? Meron na to? Okay, yung in-explain natin kanina yung replacement ballots, yun nga po, if the ballot gets rejected 4 times, di ba po, pag na-reject, we always say na according to our general instructions, if the ballot gets rejected, first we inspect kung ano yung naging problema, and then yun nga, kung merong mga sabihan natin si voter na okay, i-shade mo na mabuti, tignan mo kung merong mga marka-marka yung gilid niyan. Pwede natin siyang ipasok in 4 different orientations. So, pwede pa ganito, pwede pa ganyan, pwede pa ganyan, pwede pa ganon. Pag na-reject pa rin, doon natin gagawin yung i-determine if the rejection is due to the fault of the voter. And I've been explaining to you, mahirap po talagang i-explain or expound kung what is fault of the voter and what is not fault of the voter. But basically, pag hindi naman fault the voter, we will issue a replacement ballot. And when we issue a replacement ballot, we always note that in the minutes. What do we do with the rejected ballot? Of course, meron po tayong procedure doon. Ilalagay po natin siya, lalagyan natin ng rejected sa likod. Pipirmahan po yan ng BEIs. Yung pong concept ng replacement nga is something that is medyo, what if naging trend siya? Kasi 'di ba, wag naman 'di ba, pero paano kung halos lahat ng bumoto sa iyo humingi ng replacement kasi nare-reject yung balota nila? So safe to assume kung ang cause ng, well, we have to await kung ano po yung magiging definition natin ng fault of the voter. Pero yung nga po sinasabi natin kanina, dapat yung BEIs talaga bago niya iabot yung balota kay botante, dapat ensure niya talaga na malinis. At sasabihin niyo talaga si botante na, Ma'am, sir, wag po natin lalagyan ng kahit na anong, kasi there will be voters who will test that. Test talaga nila yan. So dapat, pagkaabot mo sa kanya, pagbalik sa'yo, madumi na, meron ng marka, hindi na natin pwedeng i-categorize yun na hindi pa rin faulty voter. So hindi natin yun dapat palitan. Kasi they must understand that we did our part as SBEIs or as BEIs na instruct the voter na this is a clean ballot. We should be expected na clean din pong ibabalik sa atin. Okay, yung pong replacement, yun nga po, if it falls within the purview of not due to the fault of the voter, pwede pong palitan yung balota. Pero it's highly dangerous because nga we do not have contingencies for additional ballots.
Ma'am, malalaman ba nila kung nagkaroon, kasi say, may nagtatanong kasi dito, di ba, nag-sign na siya, di ba, mali, nag-take oath siya na mali yung kanyang, hindi yun yung boto niya, di ba? Malalaman ba niya kung, so wala na yung boto niya, ganun, tapos what happens next? Ma-inform ba siya about the investigation? Ganun kung sakali?
We have not yet a definitive procedure on that
Okay.
coming from the COMELEC.
Okay. Tapos, meron pong may nagtatanong po dito, yung pag-verify ng identity ng tao, nire-require ba ang BEI to ask for an ID card? Ganun.
Sa general instructions po, usually pag kilala naman na siya ng BEI, usually hindi naman na po sila, lalo na kung personally kilala mo na siya yon, hindi naman po nila hinihingan na ng any ID. But lalo na dito sa urban areas, medyo hindi ho natin masyadong kilala yung mga botante natin. So, one of the things na hinihingan natin is yes, ID, or kung wala naman po siya ma-present na ID, usually tinitignan natin yung picture niya.
Picture
Yung
doon
picture niya dun sa...
may picture doon
Oo,
sa...
meron po yan.
Sa
Sa list of voters.
Doon nababase ni...
Oo, usually. Pag po wala po siyang ID. Pero yung sa procedure po natin yun, pwede niya i-verify through...
Okay.
Okay. Ano rin naman yan, kapag kunwari may nagko-contest, yun, doon natin sila hinihingan ng
Hihingan ng ID.
ID.
Okay. Eto po may tanong tungkol dun sa chain of custody daw ng SD card. Pwede daw bang i-explain yun? Tapos pag hindi daw nakatransmit, saan dadalhin ang SD card? Medyo na banggit na to kanina pero siguro i-explain lang po yung chain of custody. Who receives it? After dinala ng BEI sa munisipyo, halimbawa.
After the election, dalawa yung ating SD card na nakalagay sa ating VCM. For slot A, we have the main SD card, and slot B, we have the backup SD card. The BEI can determine the backup and main SD card kasi color-coded yan. Main SD card is colored black. Backup SD card, slot B, B lahat. Blue ang kulay niya. So after election, the instruction is for the BEI to open slot A, cut the seal, and put the SD card in an envelope for the purpose of main SD card. So meron tayong envelope, nakalagay doon, envelope for main SD card. So ang instruction sa aming mga BEI is for them to submit the envelope to our reception and custody group of the Board of Canvassers. So isinasubmit sa munisipyo. Transmitted, lalagyan, pagka not transmitted yung SD card, nilalagyan yung envelope ng markang not transmitted. Pero kung transmitted, okay lang yun na nakalagay sa envelope. So, main SD card is to be submitted to the reception and custody group of the Board of Canvassers, while the backup SD card should remain sealed in slot B. So, hindi tatanggalin yung SD card dito sa slot B at remain siyang nakaseal kasi may seal ito. So, yung main SD card lang ang isasubmit ng BEI sa ating Board of Canvassers. Ano po yung isang question?
So yung main SD card isasubmit
Sa Board of Canvassers.
sa Board of Canvassers. And then the Board of Canvassers na po yung mag-upload or
Yes, we have the so-called CCS operator for the Board of Canvassers. The CCS operator actually will upload all SD cards, whether transmitted or not transmitted. Pero of course, uunahin niyang i-upload yung mga envelope with label not transmitted in order to complete the proclamation and the transmission to the next level. Pero lahat ng SD card, whether transmitted or not transmitted, should be uploaded by the CCS operator para masiguro natin na talagang 100% yung
So the
maitra-transmit natin sa next level of canvassing.
ma'am, anong threshold ho sa local to proclaim?
Our resolution is for 90%
90%
threshold.
ang threshold.
So-
Pero ang target is 100% transmission.
No, yung
ganun,
sinasabi
or-
naming threshold na lowering ng
Okay.
90%, yun lang yung, pag halimbawa meron ng gustong kandidato, unopposed siya. So kailangan mong i-lower yung threshold kasi kahit naman isang presinto lang yung natanggap, actually pwede na siyang i-proclaim pero ayaw ng commission na baka maraming areas ang unopposed, isang presinto pa lang yung natanggap, magpro-proclaim na sila. So naglagay kami na ang threshold dapat para makapag-proclaim ka is 90%. Ibig sabihin, kahit gusto mo nang mag-proclaim, kung hindi ka maglo-lower ng threshold, hindi mo pwedeng gawin yon. Dahil ang paglo-lower ng threshold, kailangang magbigay muna si COMELEC ng special password para ilagay doon sa ating laptop at para makapunta ka doon sa part ng system na kailangan mo nang tanggapin yung pagpo-proclaim kasi pwede ka nang mag-lower ng threshold. So may special password yon na kailangan mong ilagay.
And add lang po sana kasi na dapat kasi ang condition doon, the remaining untransmitted results should not affect na yung outcome nung
The, to?
doon sa presado na yon, sa municipality na yun or city.
Ito po, siguro sa ratio ng may question na, is there enough manpower, yung tech, to support all the, machines?
To support all.
All the machines. Like, ano po ba yung ratio ng Ang tech manpower, every polling center po ba? Or every
For every 5
precinct?
BCM, I think there is 1 VCM technician. And for
Okay.
every 10 technician, I think there is, or for every municipality, there should be a VCM technical coordinator.
Okay. And then finally, ito po last question. siguro concern to ng lahat ng teachers. Siyempre may bayad. Magkano po ba yung bayad ngayon? Nagtatanong po yung mga...
Ako pagdating sa pera, hindi ako masyadong...
At saan po ba nila, kailan po ba nila yun matatanggap daw?
Actually, our finance department is already preparing yung smart card yata. Smart card na lang ipapadala.
Okay.
So, sa ngayon pa lang po nagpre-prepare na yung aming finance department doon sa smart card para mas madaling matanggap ng ating mga BEIs yung kanilang honorarium.
Okay. Marami pong salamat, ma'am. So, salamat po dun sa ating team mula sa COMELEC. Ang next po si Yusek Muyot, i-explain po niya kung paano, kung may mga concerns po yung yung mga teachers na BEIs kasi medyo concerned po yung DepEd para sa kanila. Ano po yung gagawin nila para kung baka kailangan nila ng tulong?
Magkakaroon po tayo ng DepEd Election Task Force sa Central Office, sa Regional Office, at saka po sa ating mga Division Offices. Ito po ay magbubukas ng 1 p.m. sa May 8 Linggo hanggang 5 p.m. po ng May 10 Tuesday. Ang purpose po ng ating Election Task Force ay upang magbigay po ng impormasyon at saka magbigay din po ng technical and legal assistance sa ating pong mga guro na kasama po sa ating mga board, sa ating mga BEIs. So magpo-post po ang Central Office, Regional Office at saka Division Offices po natin na mga hotlines kung saan po pwedeng tumawag po yung ating pong mga guro. And doon po sa mga polling centers po natin, meron naman po tayo mga taga-DepEd na mga supervisors po who will be going around at siguro po sila po yung ating in-encourage na pag meron pong mga tanong, yung mga BEIs para hindi na po sila umalis sa kanilang pwesto, sila po yung tumawag sa ating mga division at saka po regional or central office election task force. Okay, thank you.
Ayun. Tapos yung Rappler po makikipagtulungan po sa DepEd tungkol dito. Meron po tayong PH Vote Watch, #PH Vote Watch map. Bali, minomonitor po natin dito yung lahat ng mga tweets at mga concerns po on the ground tungkol po dun sa election. Ito po yung mapa. So, kung mag-tweet po kayo, ipapadala po namin sa ipopost po namin on the ground yung yung paano po mag-tweet using the #PHVoteWatchMap. Marunong po ba kayo ng Twitter? Yung mga teachers. Mamaya po, bibigyan namin kayo ng crash course. Dapat matuto kayo. Okay. So, pag pag tweet po ninyo, gagamitin niyo po yung #PHVoteWatchBEI. At yun po, makikita po namin yun dito sa PH Vote Watch Map. At yun po, makikita na po natin kung saan nangyari. Kailangan pong naka-turn on yung location ninyo. Gagawin po natin yan ng papakita namin sa inyo kung may mga phones kayo na Android or iOS. Okay. So yun po, lang po #PHVoteWatchBEI. Tungkol po doon sa mga concerns po tungkol po doon sa mga concerns ng mga teachers. Pwede din yun pong i-post doon sa Facebook group ng PH Vote. Imo-monitor po yun ng aming masigasig na social media team. Okay. Dito po sa loob, medyo tahimik ang ating mga teachers. May mga tanong po ba? Kanina po, napasugod kayo dito. Bakit po?
Kasi po kami, third member po ako. Ngayon, sabi nga may pagbabago, kaya may daw yung hahawak ng VCM. Hindi kami nag-training po, ma'am. Hindi kami nag-seminar. So, dapat...
Ma'am, para po meron kaming yung video po ng procedures on how to operate the machine. Siguro po we can share it with you para po maibigay dun sa inyo. It covers po yung procedure dun sa pag-open ng makina tsaka yung pag-close ng makina. Nandun po yung paki-ignore na lang yung part about the separator bin. Hindi na kasi siya gagamitin. Yun lang po. Plus yung paki-add lang yung procedure for the disposition of the VVPAT. Then meron po kami material para dyan.
So i-upload po natin yung lahat at meron pong isang page on Rappler din na jointly pinut together po namin with DepEd. Yun po rappler.com/ PHVote-BEI. Yun po i-share po yun namin. Nandun po ilalagay din po namin yung mga bagong general instructions tapos lahat ng video po tungkol dito pati yung galing sa COMELEC. Okay. So, yun po, ano po yung inyong agam-agam, ma'am?
Kasi medyo natatakot din kami kasi kung magkamali kami.
1 to 6 years daw. Okay. So, marami pong salamat sa pagpunta niyo po dito sa Rappler. Kung may mga concerns po, ilagay lang po doon sa ilagay po lamang doon sa comments thread. Imo-monitor po namin at ipapaabot din po namin sa COMELEC kung may mga concerns na kailangan po nilang sagutin. Itatag po namin sila. Madalas po namin silang kulitin. Ayan po. At ipapaabot din po namin sa DepEd. Marami pong minomonitor din po ito ng DepEd. Marami pong salamat.